Right. Good afternoon. Welcome to Silver TV. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. This is a critical analysis from the experts. Nipa mako and nine ene. So bad many of my dim komo. Technically, now we were trying to know more about the Kotoko team. And now omo the same way amame. Semeno meche. Now semeno tiawa. These technical men no analyze Kotoko and they are telling me that men can't say that Asante Kotoko team have 5 key weaknesses I hear fixing as soon as possible, and until then Asante Kotoko team no omo emfa pen and science here and can say they have arrived despite Kotoko winning 4 matches. They talk to me about the strength of the team, but for some reasons I want to keep the strength because now me here research. So I spoke with these technical men. For some reason, I want to keep the strength and talk about the weaknesses. Which, according to them, they believe Kotoko is fixing it. But omu pese mu amu ye chitafo no hu se saa nyoma we team no nye ya be din se obetumi akase Kotoko arrive. This is Silver TV, and we are going to talk about the 5 weaknesses of the Kotoko team despite the back-to-back winner Omo Etimi Apeke. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It's very, very important. It helps our jobs. It pushes us to the next week. And drop your comment. Na in the evening. But the first thing these technical men, and it looks like Omunyina the same thing, especially with the first weakness. Well, Asante Kotoko intimi utilize it in the set pieces. And Nama had been cranko. But the moment they mentioned it, I sat back and decided to think about it. So during our conversation, before you realize, now me and Kasakra started making examples of Kotoko and their set piece problem. And according to them, offensive wise, Kotoko is not making good use of their set pieces. Now, the unperformed Kenyan said, so we have Asante Kotoko corner. Kotoko ni bukum Chelsea Kotoko nya bebre pa. But if be anywhere na ehu, it may lead to something huge. Free kick Kotoko nya bi pa. But if be anywhere ehu, it may lead to something offensive aspect for Kumasi Asante Kotoko. So what they were trying to say is that, and now the presence of Isaac Opon, the presence of Peter Aqua as a wing back, the presence of Baba Yaya or Eric Zeze, the presence of Richmond Lamte and Mukwalentino, Kotoko sa players when you need to kuta ball, and because they're able to hold on to the ball, they attract a lot of tackles, and tackles may lead to infringement and free kicks. And they do also because they try to dribble a lot, opponent go for safety, which is corner, or throw closer to the opponent's penalty box. Now what you omun common na omun patch say you try Baba Yaya, you try Lamte, Morrison ban anima or could be twetwe tie channel. Zeze bow you chin your channel, upon your channel, Bukwala your channel, Peter Aqua your channel. So clearly from their tactical point, the more kind is like, yes, Kotoko were a lot of skillful players almost joining attack now. They hold on to the ball, they attract the fouls. But Kotoko ain't me benefiting from any of the dangerous free kicks or Munya around the penalty box or closer to the opponent's goal area. It's a much emergency. Kotoko, the match of boy against Brekum Chelsea. And I started remembering the tackles on Peter Aqua, tackles on Richmond Lamte, tackles on Baba Yaya. I am bien where leading to go. So almost say until Kotoko can work on that, the ability to utilize the set pieces against their opponent because of the nature of players as Asante Kotoko, until Kotoko meet me Sudan, set piece remain a weakness of Asante Kotoko. And that is what these technical men can't tell them. Again, Omuasa highlighted that on the other side of the coin, set piece is also another weakness. Apart from offensive aspect of Kotoko, ain't mean you should be here. Defensively, Kotoko so consider from free kicks which ya kan one seven dada our platform you so into defensive aspect in na minim say a weakness but offensive aspect no mo twen ma adwen si so because as a Kotoko nya corner ye hu de ekosi because Kotoko ni nations with the exception of the penalty ball ni nyina no were chances created the free kick ahodo corner ahodo apie no bi enu ho e ba mfaso Kotoko against Legon Cities and catching the opponent on the counter break with clinical passes from midfielders and it leading to the goals for Kotoko. The matches now Kotoko really the krana aye kan wasem no. Yes, Kotoko really penalties mienu, but the number of free kicks are Kotoko enya against Mediama, against Legon Cities, against Nations and against Tima. Your friend Brekum Chelsea e so nhyeda mbamfa so e ma Asante Kotoko. So set piece is the first weakness mpanimfo yi ebo eye ewa e de kire. And you as a Kotoko fan watching Silver TV, what do you think? Is set piece really the problem? They are speaking from a technical point. What do you also think? Is it a problem for Kotoko? The second thing they talked about here is Kotoko wing backs they lack traditional defensive minded players. That was what the second weakness of Mokan was at the Chrem. I'm saying traditionally, Kotoko lack a defensive minded wing backs. Now, because Morrison in Fege ne Peter Akwa Jumano, no me suma tension in course. But after what they said, there's a raised question of patience. So you could tell 4 wins now benyina these technical weaknesses na mpanimfo yi kan e kire say abotre na okoso anyama team because team ni nya nduri and on kan I decided to think about it. Then I realized Morrison is not a natural left back. Peter Akwa is not a natural right back, same as in Fegi. Enti ye obo the Kotoko center backs especially or the Sheriff Mohammed Khan. Or say Sheriff idea to the extent that when the wing back search forward or drop up the kipu a chiro na omo ye 4 no ball Nurudin ni bile aba so say omo ye adwuma pa despite support e bi omo ntanya from natural from their wing backs. But no kase or they were saying say a Japan go as a wing backer because all the instinct of a natural right back our defensive instinct in Osoro, he would give the team a better defensive shield than Peter Akwa or your winger or the neighbor wing back. It was a weakness. Just that we need Yanda and who did. Then he also talked about Morrison on the left. So on a natural left back. Obetimi Abo he is supporting there. But the principles of defending, you may not have it in abundance as compared to Nana Benin, as compared to John Teleku or Nicolas Osebun. Some natural left backs are more the defensive minded instinct. Because Peter Akwa a winger or pension. Do not say for now no coach Ogumaya dear passer as a Mrantie no Obian Cochain defensive zone man came. But he was trying to say sometimes can the papa more along the line in some of the matches, one of the technical members with the Kumasi base say Oshakot team na ka Ogumnya, he would have introduced traditional defensive minded players along the line in some of the matches. But he rather overload his midfield than the wings. You know, I say Japan ba Ebia Japan betina bench. Ebia Fuseni Isaaku and someone betina bench. But along the line, na Kotoko obo na Ogum peso na a compact line where chiruha. You take Peter Akwa out and introduce a natural right back. You need a Japan Fuseni or Isahaku. Send you to keep numbers at the back intact. So according to them, that is a weakness of Kotoko. The wing backs are not natural defenders. So they are doing the job there. But sometimes, feel almost say as defenders and kasa. And that is the other one, Wamoka account, which they said, say, they'll be very happy, say, recovery of the Kotoko defenders, Nankasa Nebeba. Send your coach in the offensive ones, next started. Now, so hold on to the goal, the score line, we were introduced to defensive minded ones, number. So, still, Nyoma Minu Ama Ken Chere say, Kotoko team may win here to us for, but still, as we know about Trema team, no, because the team is still not there. These are technical issues that anybody with a technical eye will know. The next thing they talked about was Kotoko Enye clinical despite scoring. And we are an Accra-based coach, very popular pa. Sometimes we're a pandit for shoes be so. Then he made mention of this, Okoshe Kotoko ne Legon Cities. And in the first 15 minutes, now Kotoko should have gotten a goal. Or say Oshe Kotoko ne Chelsea. And he realized again, say, the finishing of Kotoko Enyanye through the standard Abemwakase team now arriving. So according to them, they still believe that the finishing and how Kotoko convert chances is still a weakness of the team and it's still a problem of the team. And Obi Oshe Kotoko ni Nations be dia dance here. Obi Oshe Kotoko ni Chelsea so be dia dance here. One Peter Aqua chance na went in Yanshan. Clinical goal scoring opportunity or aba. The starting game, no. Who passes number boy be pool be a goal. Chelsea for ni ball be free. That is another. Lamte to Zeze to Michael Che to Mukwala. Went to Nyambonse. That is another. I say Kopomo to chin rap penalty box no move on the ball near. Anybody na ball no go through. That is another. And that was even against Chelsea. So even from the Chelsea game, you can count about 4 clear chances. So some back Kotoko we are or meant to Yansha or Moshe Bako. Kotoko Nations the net brought 10 kra. And he talked about Kotoko against Tima, your friend Legon Cities, and he also talked about Kotoko against Timwa, your friend Midiema. And I don't know. Now, men can't want to say maybe because Kotoko Media Manager, you can give credit to goalkeeper friend Felix Shea for his brilliant saves. But Mekan also can say there are some balls who drew ball a bad thing for the goalkeeper to even save it. And he was even saying, let's go against Chelsea. The first attempt now upon ball man, he should have been able to put the ball at the back of the net. But a ball for a keeper so and some of fan wakabo. So ono kra person o kire unfortunately senka nyoma nkuye kura ka goalkeeper na timi sen yi ball no and a defender ntimi yi ball no the free goal post no. So he think, and I asked the Okumas and also said the same thing on the also her Nations one Legon Cities but her Nations and breakum Chelsea and he sided with the Accra and said Kotoko's goal scoring and how they finished the chances in as much as Kotoko Ashe in the last 4 games they've been able to score, no, they still believe that the finishing and the conversion rate of Kotoko is still a problem that they need to fix. And no idea back one now back, which is a bit controversial. We an up and coming coach. There are 4 coaches they didn't come up. Or say the system are Kotoko in a 5-3-2 or a 3-5-2, no. In as much as Isaac Opon a very trickish or chicheni adeno, Senkane Papa Mua, Kalu should be coming from the bench in the second half. Or in Fege coming in the second half. Toronto they'll say, no say people break trust in Fege and Kalu Mbwa. But this person convinced me on why Kalu and Infegi form is not helping Asante Kotoko. So on your narrow down, say Kalu and Infegi not in a good form is a weakness of Asante Kotoko. And I wanted to know why. Now this is what he was trying to say. Or say, so you see wing back, sir. You come in with, you open up. Do you have options on the wider side of the field. And when you have options on the wider side of the field, most of the time their chances of creating or more creative chances and they go to the middle channel. Rather, if you back as crosses. Now, what they were saying is that between Opon and Kalu, when they talk about crosses and using your head, Kalu your head. Into Opon started maybe a 60 or 70 minutes. Kalu Ba, he introduces a new dimension for Asante Kotoko in terms of how they strike. So that dimension now, within the Kotoko team, nipa no bit me say Jumani Kalu. Yes, Kotoko linear to also 4, but Kotoko is losing that dimension, that is the presence in the air, and with the opponent final third. And Kalu lack of form is a weakness of the club. And I was like, okay, fine, because Peter Akwa the beba. Morrison the baba nti was ya ne lamtemu created to the middle mu kwala mo de ball na to form no ka wo hia Kalu na ono de no on the crosses na ball ba pima to atrem. I was like, okay, fine. Then I asked him about Infege. And I see within the Kotoko setup, the best player when it comes to picking second balls Kotoko matches awashe no Branty friend George Infege. So when Infege is in a good form, he picks the second balls better than any Kotoko player. Sabo na beto we 50-50 no. Infege ni was very smart to me picking in terms player bia. And that is why not time and not on Mbele ebono. Mbele ebia eko her head no enya chance na sha. Most of the time Infege na nebe boboshe. That was what he was trying to tell me. So he was saying, he said, if Kalu and Infege are fitter, they introduce something new. In the starting way, when we must start, these players can come from the bench, and in the last 25 minutes, they will improve Kotoko if only they were in a good form. Into one narrow it down, says some we form our enso jano. It is a weakness of Asante Kotoko. And if these guys are getting the right form, now Kalu is showing the presence in the air as another option for Asante Kotoko. Whilst Kuala Lamtemu Chichino or form now, a Kotoko a different bite. If Infege a fit, now Infege was form. Now so no free bench ba. Now se ball neba 50-50 in a dribble now. Also added a new value at the Asante Kotoko team. These are technical explanations that they are dissecting the Kotoko team and telling me about the weakness of the Asante Kotoko team. And it makes sense. They convinced me. And it makes sense, pa. Now the last one, omo eka ho asem no. It's something that menjere hoda. Say, tieniye, or say, about 70% of Asante Kotoko's long kicks from their defensive zone could continue maintaining possession. I was like, really? I said, yes. 70% of Kotoko's long kicks from their defensive zone. These are what the coaches are saying. Jomo almost say, my Kotoko team 10 years, still now, but Trema team now, because we mean a Juma coach in here. Asare, Ansu, Bele, Nuruddin, and even Danlad. I'm say Sam Rantiwe. Amoma long balls from Kotoko defensive zone. Most of the time, Kotoko lose possession. That is what these technical men are saying. Tinyabo Trema team no. Almost say if they play, for instance, there, I'm sure no crowd on penny once they had in Abu say blame a long cross and a long pass. I'm see blade normally or be piano to a be the amadi or ben or penny baby agent. So Kotoko arm build from the back. Say progressive short passes from the back. Say we anu a piano maninia, we anu a piano maninia. So man yes I no. No decides almost born beam aqua or mobile beam bibria. opponent in the fa ball because lose possession. Thompson goalkeeper Dan Loud, Frederick Asare, their kicks, which is long and go in their favor. They lose possession. And the factors almost stating is a one. Kotoko players now what the opponent final third. No? Most of them are not good in the air. Thompson Bukwala and Mao presence in the air on the any form. Lamptey area ball one how to move far. Babaya on the call was saying or gofa. Eric Zeze or to send or gofa. Peter Aqua to send or gofa. Morrison to send or gofa. To share 5 best 6 players or your power or more Kotoko. Opponent in half now, born a 10 for more. They are being bullied. So, one is either the kicks from these players in the defensive zone is bad, or our players are bad receivers of long passes when they are being challenged. Also, Kotoko players now what final 10, no more person born fat to form more, no more fanko. But so, body bima and wakoto. And that is the last weakness of Moboso about this Kotoko team and why we should have patience for the team despite winning 4 matches on a row. The team is still not up there. They're critical fine margins, but they are saying the team is still not up there. What do you know what I'm saying? I was convinced. Last one and not mentioned because I knew say yes, mostly Ansu and they born a longer encore. But I'm not sure my beings to say so almost a Kotoko bobo no more person pian and kakra free chiroba. And yes, I'm on a tomo. Omoboku ombosimu bima and wow. I'm saying born Obama lamta button and now and bomb 5 games on funny tinge. So Obama baba button now and bomb 5 games on funny tinge. So Obo Eddie Ama Eric Zeza button and now and bomb 5 games. Peter Aqua fatton and now. Chinesa Kotoko team na esomo pian and kakraba. So Kotoko cannot use long passes well and they are losing possession when they decide to go for long passes. These are the 5 weaknesses are the technical men a catch me about Asante Kotoko team. Technical men pa catch me about Asante Kotoko team. 1, set piece. How Kotoko uses their set piece and how they defend their set pieces. 2, the lack of traditional defensive-minded wing backs. 3, a missing of chances. Kotoko, the rate at which they convert their chances and according to them form. 4, the absence of Kalu and Infegi as options for Kotoko attacking plan. Absence of Kalu and Infegi as options for Kotoko attacking plan. And my Kotoko attacking plan here one way because our 2 players on the new dimension, but they are not there. And the last one, Kotoko losing possession through long kicks. This is Obe TV. Drop your comments on what you think about these weaknesses in Penifondia to the 10 factors are and lead to why Kotoko is performing. But I decided not to do that. I decided not to talk about the strength for certain reasons. And let's see how the Kotoko team, technical team will work on these things and how best they will improve on it. But according to them, Kotoko is still work in progress and every fan should have patience for the team. Bye bye.